Listen here, chosen one. If your eyes stopped here at this exact moment, do not dismiss it as coincidence. I just received a revelation that's going to explode your mind about something you did a few weeks ago. Something you barely noticed sent a tremor through realms far beyond the physical world. Its impact was so profound that even the highest consciousness paused to observe what had just taken place. I'm about to tell you what was revealed to me about a small thing you did weeks ago. Something you barely remembered. Something you probably labeled as ordinary kindness. But in the higher dimensions, it wasn't ordinary at all. It was an intervention, a rescue, a turning point so intense that the attention of heaven itself shifted toward you, if only for a heartbeat, to witness what your human hands had just accomplished. You saved an angel. And when I say saved, I'm not offering you a cute metaphor to boost your mood. I'm talking about a real spiritual operation that unfolded around your life, where your choice, your heart, your instinctive compassion stepped into a celestial crisis that could have tipped a delicate balance between light and darkness. You didn't see a flash of wings. You didn't hear trumpets. You didn't receive a glowing sign in the sky. Because angels in trouble don't always appear as art paintings. When an angel is compromised, fractured, stranded between planes, they don't show up with halos and choir music. They blend into the most common corners of human life. They hide inside familiar faces, ordinary situations, small encounters that look like nothing special, waiting for one thing. A human being whose heart is clean enough to respond without needing proof, praise, or permission. Before we go deeper, do this right now. Subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications. Not because I'm chasing numbers, but because information like this is deliberately buried from people like you. People who can influence spiritual wars without realizing they're doing it. Stay with me to the end because I'm going to explain exactly what kind of gesture you made, why it mattered, how it worked, and why heaven has already begun moving pieces in your life as a response. And write 777 in the comments if you felt lately that you did something meaningful, something pure, and then shrugged it off like it was nothing. If you're ready to understand what your compassion is really doing in the unseen world, write 777 now. Now let me unfold what happened. There are angels assigned to frequencies, to human destinies, to gateways of hope, to fragile points in the collective mind where despair tries to break through. There are battles taking place that will never make headlines, never trend on social media, never get debated in public squares. Yet they determine whether humanity continues reaching for light or collapses into cold spiritual sleep. This particular angel was not a beginner. This wasn't a gentle messenger floating through clouds. This was a veteran of spiritual conflict, an entity tasked with holding open channels of love and protection so that human hearts could still feel tenderness in a world that keeps training people to become numb. For centuries, this angel fought. Not in the way movies show, but through spiritual resistance, through shielding, through maintaining vibrational lines that keep compassion alive, through blocking waves of hatred designed to infect communities and families with hopelessness. This angel stood in the storm so you and others could still wake up with the ability to care. Then something happened that even high celestial ranks did not anticipate. Dark forces used a tactic they had never deployed before, a kind of dimensional rupture. Imagine an explosion not of fire and smoke, but of reality itself. A spiritual blast that shatters coordinates, breaks the internal map an angel uses to navigate between dimensions, and flings their consciousness into a space that is neither fully physical nor fully celestial. That is what happened. The angel was torn from the home frequency, ripped away from the higher hierarchies, thrown into a void between worlds, a thin, terrifying middle zone where an entity can sense both realms but belong to neither. The angel could brush the physical world like a shadow, but could not fully manifest. The angel could perceive the higher dimensions like distant light through fog but could not communicate. Worst of all, every moment spent trapped there drained the angel's essence, like a divine battery, slowly dying. This is hard for the human mind to picture, so let me make it simple. An angel's being is light, not metaphorical good vibes, actual spiritual substance. When that light is cut off from its source and trapped in a broken frequency, it starts to fade. Hour by hour, the angel's identity begins to unravel. If the light collapses completely, what remains is not a normal spirit. It becomes an empty shell, a spiritually dead entity, something unnatural, something that should not exist. And in the wrong hands, that emptiness can be corrupted and weaponized. A corrupted angel is one of the most devastating instruments darkness can hold because it still carries partial access to celestial codes, patterns, and pathways. It knows how heaven works, but it's forced to serve the opposite. It becomes a wound in the fabric of spiritual order. The dark side knew this. That's why they celebrated when this angel vanished into that specific fracture zone. They weren't just trying to destroy an opponent. They were trying to steal a weapon. The higher hierarchies moved immediately. Archangels combed dimensions. Seraphim tracked subtle disturbances. Cherubim examined every anomaly, every faint ripple that suggested the missing one's location. But the angel was caught in a frequency so narrow, so strange, so uniquely distorted by that rupture that even celestial detection could not lock onto it. Time passed. The angel's light weakened. Communication broke. Hope thinned. And the countdown began. If just a few more hours had passed, the angel would have crossed the point of no return, dissolving into emptiness, becoming vulnerable to corruption, the kind of corruption that would turn a protector into a blade aimed at the very realm it once served. Then you stepped in. Not with a sermon, not with a ritual, not with spiritual knowledge. You stepped in as yourself. You stepped in like a normal person in a normal day, carrying a kind heart that you've probably never considered rare. And you performed a gesture so simple, so human, so quietly decent, that you didn't even think to congratulate yourself for it. But in that middle zone where the angel was fading, your kindness hit like a lifeline. Here's the part you need to understand. Lost angels don't walk up and announce themselves. They don't say, "Hello, I'm an angel stranded between dimensions. Please assist." That would contaminate the rescue. Because if you help for the thrill of mysticism, for the story, for the ego boost, the frequency is wrong. The rescue requires something purer than fascination. It requires compassion with no hunger in it. Compassion that expects nothing. Compassion that moves because it can't stand to see suffering and do nothing. That kind of compassion is rare. That is what you have. So the angel did what angels in crisis are allowed to do. It disguised itself inside a moment you'd recognize, a person who crossed your path, a situation that touched something deep in you. Maybe it was someone who looked lost, someone who seemed burdened, someone who needed directions, support, a listening ear, a small act of help. It could even have been an animal you couldn't ignore, a living being abandoned and trembling on the edge of survival. The details can vary because the disguise is designed to fit your world, your schedule, your environment, your daily reality. What matters is what happened inside you when you saw it. Something in you said, "I can't walk away." Not to impress anyone, not to be seen, not to earn points. You moved because your heart moved. And the moment you did, your energy reached into that fractured frequency like a bridge extending over a chasm. Every gentle choice you made, every word you offered, every patient second you gave, every act of support you extended without demanding repayment. It wasn't just nice. It was medicine. It functioned like a spiritual defibrillator. It reactivated light that was going out. It jolted the angel's essence back into coherence. It reminded the angel what it was. It reminded the angel where home was. While you thought you were simply being a decent human being, the celestial realm watched something extraordinary. Because when a human acts with pure compassion, untainted by ego, the frequency of that act can rise high enough to touch angelic circuitry. And when that happens, it does something darkness cannot copy. It restores. It revives. It reconnects. Threads that had been severed began to stitch themselves back together. Channels that had gone silent began to hum again. The trap frequency started dissolving, not because someone blasted it open with power, but because love does what force cannot. Love reorganizes reality. Within hours, that angel was no longer drifting. The angel's coordinates reformed. Communication with the higher hierarchies reignited. The void lost its grip. The stranded one returned to its dimension fully restored, not merely surviving, but strengthened because the rescue wasn't just technical. It was sacred. And it happened because you didn't pass by. Because you chose compassion when indifference would have been easier. Now listen, because this is where it gets even deeper. When the angel returned, the first thing it did was report what occurred. Not in gossip, not in drama, but as a formal account to the divine order. A human soul had served as an instrument of salvation. A human being, without training, without conscious awareness, had performed a rescue that even many celestial beings cannot accomplish alone. When this reached God, the response was immediate. I need you to understand what I'm saying without watering it down. The Creator's attention turned toward you, not as a vague concept, not as poetry, as reality. Because saving a lost angel is not something just anyone can do. It requires a heart so clean it can generate a frequency stable enough to reconnect celestial essence. It requires compassion so genuine it becomes power, and in a world where kindness is often performative, transactional, or hollow, that kind of compassion is exceptionally rare. It is found in a small fraction of people, and you carry it naturally. So an emergency council was called, not because heaven was panicking, but because heaven had discovered something. A human soul operating at a level that could influence celestial operations. The archangels were summoned. The commanders of the angelic ranks gathered to analyze the imprint of your energy, the signature of your essence, and the potential of your spiritual design. And what they found was unanimous. You are not here by accident. You are not a common soul drifting through a common life. You are an evolved consciousness that chose to incarnate on Earth for a reason, to function as a bridge when bridges are needed, to step into moments of crisis, often without even knowing it, and tilt the outcome toward light through something as simple as compassion. This is why your kindness has always felt automatic. This is why you feel things deeply. This is why you struggle to watch suffering and pretend it's none of your business. This is why your conscience doesn't let you relax when you know you could help, and you choose not to. You may have thought that made you too sensitive. It doesn't. It means you're tuned to something higher. And when God saw that, a decision was made. Not just recognition for what you did, but investment in what you can still do. Because if you can save an angel without knowing you're doing it, imagine what happens when you become conscious of your spiritual authority. The angel you saved, out of gratitude that cannot be measured, volunteered to become your personal guardian. Not as a job assignment, not as a duty, but as an oath. The angel requested permission to remain near your path, to watch your life closely, to intervene when you are threatened by unnecessary hardship, to smooth what can be smoothed, to block what can be blocked. And permission was granted. So hear me clearly. You now have active protection around you, not the kind you need to fearfully obsess over, but the kind that quietly works in the background, shifting outcomes, redirecting accidents, delaying what would harm you, pulling helpful people into your orbit at exactly the right time. And that's only the beginning. Because when the angel studied the rescue, something else was revealed. Something even the higher ranks had not fully noticed about you. Your compassion wasn't just a random good moment. It wasn't luck. It wasn't right place, right time. You carry a mark, a spiritual imprint that very few humans possess. It's as if, before you ever arrived in this world, your soul was prepared with a specific design. When a spiritual crisis appears in front of you, your heart recognizes it, and your energy automatically responds with the exact frequency required to restore what is fading. In plain terms, you are built for rescue. Not rescue as a savior complex, not rescue as ego, but rescue as function. And when the angel reported this to God, something shifted from surprise into something deeper, something personal. Pride. Not pride in a human bragging sense. The pride of a creator who sees one of his most delicate projects working exactly as intended, even under the weight of human limitation. Because here is the truth that will ring in your chest when you finally accept it. Your spiritual essence operates at angelic frequencies. You may not look like it, you may not feel holy, you may have flaws, doubts, habits you're working through, wounds you've carried for years, but your core signal, the deep current underneath your personality, is not ordinary. You are light wearing human skin, not as an aesthetic idea, as a technical reality of frequency. That's why compassion comes to you like breathing. That's why you often understand pain without needing explanation. That's why injustice burns in you, why cruelty makes you physically uncomfortable, why you can't fully enjoy comfort if you had to step over someone else's suffering to get there. Your angelic nature keeps trying to express itself through the limitations of the human life you chose to experience. And yes, chose. Because the deeper revelation is this: you did not come here only to live a life and make money and disappear. You came here to develop compassion through vulnerability, to strengthen it, to refine it, to make it indestructible, because compassion is a force that rewrites destiny. The angel discovered something else too. You have done this before. You have helped other celestial beings without realizing it. That time you spoke to someone who was drowning in despair, and you stayed longer than you needed, and you said the one thing that kept them alive inside that wasn't just a human moment. That was a guardian on the verge of abandoning their assignment, losing faith in humanity, and your presence restored that faith. That time, you offered kindness to someone who did not deserve it, not because they earned it, but because your heart refused to become like the world. That wasn't naive. That was a test, a probe, a celestial check. Is there still anyone human who can love without bargaining? And you passed. Your kindness echoes upward. Your choices reverberate beyond your immediate life. You function as proof that not all humanity has been corrupted by cynicism. Your existence is evidence. Your compassion is a signal flare. That's why heaven noticed. Not only because you saved one angel, but because your life itself has been acting as an unconscious embassy of divine light in a world that desperately needs reminders. Now think about the last weeks. Have things been shifting around you? Problems that once felt stuck began loosening. Opportunities appeared from places you didn't expect. Certain toxic people faded out, backed away, lost interest in disturbing your peace. You might have called it luck, a good season, better timing. But it wasn't random. It was intervention. When you are placed under official protection, the effects are not just spiritual feelings. They show up in tangible life, in phone calls that happen at the right time, in doors that open when you thought you were stuck, in money arriving when it shouldn't have, in near misses you never even realize were near misses. That job lead that appeared out of nowhere, the right person suddenly thinking of you, the offer that arrived when you needed breathing room. Those are the kinds of nudges guardians are authorized to orchestrate. That unexpected resource that came through right before you ran out. That is the kind of financial rearrangement that can be done through synchronicity. Those people who couldn't stand you suddenly leaving you alone. That is what happens when your field becomes uncomfortable to those who feed on negativity. They feel something they can't name, and they retreat. Celestial protection is practical. It's not just candles and prayers. It's alignment. It's safety. It's the quiet rearranging of outcomes so your path stays open. But the greatest reward isn't even what you've already seen. Because God does not merely reward isolated acts. God invests in future capacity. And now that heaven knows you are a natural bridge for angelic rescue, your resources are going to expand so you can be placed where you are needed. More provision so you aren't trapped in survival mode and can respond when help is required. More opportunities so you are positioned in the right rooms, in the right streets, in the right moments. More wisdom so you can discern what is truly being asked of you when your heart suddenly lights up with compassion. More strength so you can carry the responsibility without burning out. Because the next phase is not accidental anymore. You are being promoted, not in human status, in spiritual assignment. In divine records, you have been classified as something rare, a rescue specialist, a living point of restoration, a soul able to revive what is fading. And now, you will start receiving signals, sometimes through intuition that comes out of nowhere, sometimes through dreams that feel unusually vivid, sometimes through patterns you can't ignore, sometimes through repeated coincidences that steer you toward a place, a person, a moment. It will start becoming obvious that certain encounters are arranged. You will notice the pull to help intensifying, not as guilt, but as clarity. Because when a wounded celestial being needs a bridge, you are one of the ones heaven can send into the situation without breaking divine law. Not by forcing you, but by guiding you. Not by manipulating you, but by aligning you. And the compensation for that work is not small. When your compassion serves the balance of light itself, you are not left unsupported. Provision increases. Health strengthens. Protection intensifies. Relationships stabilize. Because the work requires you to be steady, resourced, and safe. So yes, blessings will multiply around you in ways you may struggle to explain to others. And people will ask what changed. They will say, "Why does everything work out for you lately?" They'll call it luck. But you'll know the truth. You became a conscious instrument of divine compassion, and heaven responds to that with overwhelming support. Now, I need to say this carefully. With greater spiritual authority comes greater responsibility. From this point forward, your choices carry extra weight. Not because you're being judged harshly, but because you're influential. Your compassion isn't a hobby, it's a force. Every time you choose mercy over cruelty, you strengthen light. Every time you choose to help without reward, you restore hope in realms you can't even picture. You are no longer someone trying to be a good person. You are a vessel with measurable impact. So do not use this to inflate your ego. Do not turn this into performance. Do not start helping so you can feel special. That would collapse the frequency that makes you effective. What impressed heaven in the first place was your purity, your humility, your natural kindness, your ability to do the right thing when no one was watching. Keep that. That is your power. Stay grounded. Stay human. Stay sincere. Keep your compassion clean. Let your kindness remain simple, even as its impact grows massive. And now, because you deserve the full picture, here is what is unfolding in the larger war. There is a spiritual conflict happening now that is aimed at one thing: human consciousness. Not just your career, not just your relationships, your awareness of who you are. Darkness has learned that attacking humans directly is less efficient than attacking the beings assigned to protect and awaken them. If angels are weakened, distracted, stranded, or corrupted, humans become easier to numb, easier to manipulate, easier to convince that life is meaningless and love is foolish. So angels are being targeted, and the angel you helped was not the last. In the coming months, more will need bridges. Your mission is not to walk around paranoid, seeing angels everywhere or turning life into a fantasy. Your mission is simpler and more sacred. Remain the kind of person whose compassion is real. Remain available to the moments that tug your heart. Remain willing to help in the ways you can help. Because lost angels won't arrive with labels. They will arrive as situations that call your humanity forward. A stranger who needs help. A coworker who looks like they're breaking. A person who has given up and is waiting for one sign that goodness still exists. An abandoned creature needing safety. A moment where you could walk away, but something in you refuses. Those are the doorways. And when you respond, you restore more than you realize. Every angel you help becomes an ally in the higher realms. Every celestial being restored through your compassion becomes a protector of your path. Over time, you will have an entire network of support around you, not because you demanded it, but because gratitude is real in heaven and the beings you assist will not forget. Imagine that. Dozens of unseen hands smoothing your road, guiding you away from harm, placing opportunities in your path, connecting you to the right people, solving problems before they even reach you. That is not fantasy. That is consequence. Because the universe responds to frequency, and you are operating at a frequency that moves systems. And the most beautiful part is you won't have to pretend to be someone you're not. You will keep doing what you've always done, caring. The difference is that now, you know your caring is not small. Your kindness is not weakness. Your compassion is not something to hide. It is power. It is authority. It is sacred. So prepare yourself, because changes are coming that will challenge the way you think reality works. First, your intuition will sharpen. You will know things without knowing how you know. You'll sense when a moment matters. You'll feel the difference between ordinary emotion and divine prompting. Second, your words will begin to carry healing weight. You will speak, and people will feel seen. You'll offer simple sentences, and it will be like water in a desert for someone who has been drying out inside. Third, resources will increase. Not so you can hoard, but so you can move freely when called. When you are assigned rescue work, you cannot be trapped by survival fear. Fourth, your protection will become noticeable. Even skeptical people will see that something shields you. They may not call it angelic. They'll call it timing, resilience, blessings, favor. But they will notice. Fifth, your presence will become a beacon. Wounded people will feel safer near you. Environments will soften when you enter. Tension will ease. Hope will return. That is not because you're perfect. It's because your frequency restores what is collapsing. But don't forget, humility is part of your assignment. Keep your heart clean. Keep your compassion free. Help when you can, without making a theater of it. And trust that every time you choose love over indifference, heaven records it not as a minor moral act, but as a cosmic reinforcement of light. Now let's bring it full circle. You came here thinking you were just living a normal life, but the truth is, your normal life contains sacred operations, That simple gesture you made weeks ago, the one you shrugged off, the one you barely mentioned to anyone, saved an angel from spiritual extinction and activated a new level of protection and provision around you. You didn't do it for applause, you did it because that's who you are, and that's why God noticed. If this message hit something in your chest, if it felt like confirmation of a quiet knowing you've carried for years, then take this seriously. Your compassion is not accidental. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. Your impulse to help is not weakness. It is your signature. It is your calling. It is your power. So write 777 in the comments if you're ready to stand fully inside the truth of who you are and what your kindness does beyond the physical world. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you want more revelations about how compassion functions as spiritual authority, how to stay protected without fear, and how to recognize the moments heaven places in front of you. And share this video with someone you know who carries a gentle heart, someone who helps without needing credit, someone who might be serving as a bridge without even knowing it. People like you need to recognize each other, not to form a club, but to strengthen the light together. Before you go, click the next video on your screen, because what I'm going to reveal there is how this new level of celestial authority attracts protection from higher ranks, and how archangels are assigned when a soul becomes essential to the balance. Together, we are stronger.